It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 645, Shay's Weight Loss Journey, weekly updates.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. Here's Shay.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, madam?
Just great. How are you?
I'm good. How has your past week been?
It's been okay. The weather was awesome, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster. One week I'm good, the next week I'm not, but it's all good.
Yeah, it sounds like life.
Yeah, good times.
I mean, or hormones. Hormones also help with
the
that.
joys of being a woman.
Yeah, man, where you have like one normal week, like a month. I mean, cool. Yay.
Woo!
Bring on menopause. Stop this from happening.
I did have a client this past week. She was like, I don't know why everyone gets so upset about menopause. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my God. I mean, I know some women go into menopause pretty early. You know, like I wouldn't hate that. I guess I'm creeping up on that age, I guess. I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, I'm going to be 40 next year.
Oh, Amanda.
I know. How did that happen?
Grandma Amanda.
I know. Oh my God.
I'm going to call you Grammy Amanda.
I still act like a total idiot. I don't act like a 40-year-old. I don't know. Well, what are you going to do? I want to have a rage party next year though. So COVID, GTFO, we got a rage for my 40th next August.
Yes, I'm down.
And then maybe my gift will be my body will be like, you know what? No more periods. Be like, thank you. This makes 40
quite
better.
a gift.
It would be.
If you rage hard enough, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah. I'll just completely just tie my own tubes together by my amount of party.
Oh my God.
Just to not have periods anymore. But so then it was for the emotional roller coaster. It was the past week was a good week or a bad week?
It was just okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
As far as health and fitness goes, sticking to all of that or what bad in the way of?
Food was just hard this week. I just had to talk myself out of binging like a bunch of times. So I'm at least like at a place where I feel like I can like talk myself out of it most of the time, but it still is annoying to even have to do that.
Have you ever, when like going into a binge, like ever like reached out to your therapist or anybody to kind of like pull you out of it, or do you just kind of stay in it yourself?
Listen, that's a conversation my therapist is always having with me because I will not ask for help.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, as also a binge person in that mode, if my therapist was like, "You should call me," I'd be like, "Yo, I'm not going to do that." So I totally feel you. Like I understand where it would be helpful, but also I living through it when I'm in that moment, it doesn't really feel good to talk to somebody else.
No. Yeah. I mean, basically any time that she's known that I probably need to like call her other days, she calls me. She knows I won't call her.
Oh man, what a good therapist.
Oh, dude,
she just
during
calls
COVID,
you?
It happened a lot. She was like, I'm going to call you tomorrow. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not good at asking for help. But we did, like 2 weeks ago, she had me make like a list of other things that I can do instead of binging. So whether that's things that are like comforting to me or things that are distracting, and that's on my refrigerator. So, that's there if I'm going to go get some food. So.
Does it help?
It's been helpful. It's helped me to just be more aware of like what I'm doing, if that makes sense, instead
Yeah.
of just, I don't know. I'm much more aware of what I'm doing rather than just like going and binging. I like can actually reason with myself a little bit better.
That makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
I mean, in an unhealthy way. I mean, this is just diet culture screaming at you and not, I mean, really not helpful, but I thought it was helpful at the time. It was like when I was getting ready for my wedding and I was losing weight, I did the whole thing of like, I'm going to post skinny brides on the fridge. So
Oh my
when
God.
I go to eat, I'm going to look at, you know, this skinny Alfred Angelo model and be like, girl, do you need all that cheese? And that didn't work at all. Like it didn't faze me. Like having the stuff on the fridge was just like, I'm just ignoring this now. So, I mean, I'm glad that didn't work. I mean, I was having my own disordered eating in that way anyway. Like that didn't help. But it also didn't stop me. If I'm like, again, if I'm in a binge, that's where I'm like, I haven't tried putting anything in the fridge for that. And I haven't binged in a long time, which is awesome. I'm very proud of that. But I'm not sure what would really stop me if I'm in like go mode and I'm in kind of in the fever pitch of it. I don't know if I could stop myself without punching a wall or something different.
Oh my God.
I was like, I gotta let it out somehow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I haven't binged, but I have in the past couple months where I've had just where I get really overwhelmed and I really can't handle the feeling of overwhelmed. And I'll just let it, again, I won't ask for help and I'll just let it build and build and build. And then it's just got to like release. And I have been in the kitchen and just screamed so loud that it hurt my throat the rest of the week.
Oh my God,
like
dude.
Just losing it. And then like we'll fall on the floor and cry.
Oh my God.
Right. And so, but I will say that is an improvement because in the past I start smashing stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I have smashed plates.
Yeah. See, I just want to hurt myself and not other things.
See, I don't do that. I have smashed remote controls.
Oh my God.
But it's like, I never want to hurt anything around me. It's just like, that will just be like, I just have like, it just boils over. So that's where I'm like, I'm working this out. This is my own, because it's, again, if I don't binge, it was binging for so long. Then I take out the binging, it's got to have some release valve somewhere. And then it would just go to pure anger. But it'd just be like an outburst of like 5 minutes, overflow, freak out. And then immediately afterwards, it's like my head's clear. And it'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, what did I do that for? Kind of like a binge. Like when you're done eating, you're like, like, why? And so I feel like that's sort of stuff I'm, with my own therapist getting better. And for me personally, I mean, I don't know what's healthy or not. I'm not the therapist, but I would rather cry on the floor than binge eat everything in my house. So,
well, yeah, because sometimes I know for me, I literally just need to cry. I need to feel my feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't even know what feeling I'm having. I'm like so unaware of my emotions half the time. Like, I'm like, oh, there's a feeling there. What is it? Like, I have to freaking figure out what I'm actually feeling. So half the time, if I cry, homegirl's fine.
Yeah. So. I feel that. Yeah. And then I cry after therapy all the time too. I took a picture of myself yesterday just for me.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I just want to see what I look like right now. Like when I leave. And I looked at it and I was like, oof. That's rough. And then I'm like tempted to share it on Instagram.
No, don't be that girl.
No, I didn't. I wasn't going to make it a post, but I just wanted to be like, therapy. I mean, because it's brutal, but it's necessary. But I'm like, man, I know it's getting my money's worth when I look like it was kicked in the face when I leave.
Well, I think people have this idea of therapy as being all feel good.
No.
And it's not. I'm like, if you're legitimately dealing with your shit, then it's not like a fun time.
No. And I feel like too, usually the worse I feel that day, I feel so much better today. Like that's the trajectory that I'm on is like going through it then thinking about it all, it makes me in a weird mood all day. And it's just like, because it gets you thinking about stuff and like makes you address stuff that you normally push out of your head. And then like today, I feel like so much better of like, I looked at it, I'm addressing it, I'm thinking about it, I'm working on it. Okay, that feels good. And that's where I feel like it sucks, because it's like you gotta look at that ugly crap. And this is something that I feel so strongly so tied to at least my own weight loss journey, was really kind of starting to look at stuff head on is really the key to, like, for me, losing weight and keeping it off. Of not only having healthier goals and being more realistic and just being like, I'm not thinking about losing 100 pounds. I'm just trying to make the best decision possible for this moment, but also being like, why do I do this? Like, why have I yo-yoed for a decade? And to really kind of sit with myself and be like, what's the core of this? Where is this coming from? And then really kind of looking at the ugly parts of you. It's like, well, I got to do this because otherwise it's going to be the same pattern over and over again until I fix the root problem. And that ain't fun.
It ain't fun, but it makes life much better in the end.
For sure.
Like, I don't think I would have been successful losing weight if I had not been in therapy for such a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
So,
And how long have you been in therapy now?
Well, I have been in therapy kind of on and off since I was a teenager, but my therapist I have right now, I have been with her for 7 years.
Oh, dang.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been with mine for a year.
She's my life support. So,
yeah, dude. If she like knows to call you, that's
dude,
badass.
During COVID, I was like so depressed. She was like, okay, I'm going to call you this day at this time. And then I'm going to call you this day at this time. So she's awesome.
I know you said you've been on a roller coaster, but are you feeling better about all of the whole COVID situation being a year out of, I don't know, say out of it, but a year into it, I guess.
No. And that's a conversation I've had with my therapist too, is like, I thought the longer this went on, the more like adjusted or like adapted I would be. Like it would just feel fine. And I don't know, I feel more emotionally drained the longer it goes on. So like, I feel like I was totally fine, thriving, and then the pandemic hit, and it's just like resurfaced all of like my bad coping mechanisms. And then I feel like I've just kind of like put my life on hold a little bit. So, but I am feeling more hopeful. Yeah. And then there's a little bit of anxiety right now just because I don't really know what the next couple months are going to look like. And there's a lot of talk about like if the mask mandate is lifted, like how we're going to handle that in the salon, and just a lot of things that are up in the air for now.
Yeah. It feels like we're going to be in that space.
Yeah.
For at least probably the end of the year, I would guess.
Yeah. And I just have to tell myself like, Shan, calm down. It doesn't matter today. So like today, all the rules are the same. So
yeah,
I'll handle it when it comes.
And plus you're doing, you're moving your body so much this too, which has got to be so helpful for mental health.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I could not function without that. So, yeah, that's a game changer. So.
Of just like going to see Josh at 360 and Pilates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I went hiking last week, which was awesome. Nice. I love to hike. So the warmer weather helps with that.
Yeah. I definitely need to get more outside time. I've been missing that because my schedule has just been bat crackers, and I'm trying to figure that out and let some like dust settle with new clients and stuff like that. But then, I'm just trying to like get more. The weather here is supposed to be warm this week, so I'm pretty hyped about that, of trying to get outside more. But yeah, the same thing of like, working out on my own and then working out at Pilates. Like before we record this, I just came from Pilates, and even, just being like some mornings I'll just wake up and just kind of already be in that funk mood. Mm-hmm. And just feel like, oh, I hope this isn't the tone for the day. And then like going and we're exercising. It totally lifts the mood, which I know like people hear that all the time of like exercise, helps depression and stuff, but it totally does. It's like, you don't want to go, like when you're feeling like bummed out or you're just feeling like crap. It's like, working out's not the top of my list, but if you just go do something, it's just amazing how much it just flips.
Well, and that's why I love having like Josh and Shalates, because people are expecting me to be there. Like I have a set time to be there and to go, and there's an expectation that I'm going to be there. And that, I think that makes it easier when you're in that negative headspace and you don't want to go work out. It like doesn't feel as optional. So
yeah, if you were just going to like Planet Fitness, then it's all on
then
you.
it's harder to be like, go, you're going to feel better. Even if you mentally know you're going to feel better, if no one's expecting you to be there, it's hard to kind of push yourself when you're in a bad headspace.
Yeah, I've kind of been there too, of just because my workout schedule's been all over the place because I'm at the gym at Cincy 360 and I want to work out there, but I want to work out when none of the trainers are there. I don't want to get any, I'm still like so in my head about getting in other people's way. And I know I need to get over that, but I want to do it when nobody's there. And so, which is usually like the middle of the day, which also doesn't always jive with me running my own business and everything else I got going on there. And then going to the Y because it's so close to my house. And then both of those are just kind of like up to my schedule and up to me, except for Shalates is my appointment that I can't miss, which I totally agree with you. So that's even for this week, I scheduled in my calendar to go to the Y really early every morning, even though I don't have to wake up that early for anything, because I'm like, I like that accountability schedule, even though that's technically, I don't have a trainer waiting for me, I guess, except for myself.
So funny.
I should have been a dad.
Daddy Amanda.
Dad jokes. But yeah, it's just helpful to be like, no, you said you're going to show your ass up at this time. Get there. But it's so much easier when somebody else is like waiting for you. And then if you have to text them until you can't, you have to go through all that. It's like, I'm just going to show up.
Yeah, dude.
And
but it's helpful to like schedule that time in too. Like that's another way to like motivate yourself. If you make the decision ahead of time, like this is when I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to do. It's way easier than like waiting till day of.
Yeah. And then be like, oh, I'm going to fit it in here. And then like, especially for me in the morning, because I even if I have to do something super early, I will wake up an hour and a half beforehand. Because for some reason, for me to get going in the day, I have to have like a half hour of like drink coffee, chill mode, like in order to get moving. Because I think it's just because I did morning shows for so long where it was like, get up, get your ass to work. And it's just like so jarring to like go from 0 to 100 that now I'm like, oh, it's better for me to give myself kind of like a runway of like a half hour, drink some coffee, kind of get in the right headspace and then start the day. So, which I always even did before the gym when I had I was doing the afternoon show and then had to have that schedule. It's just, having that, what I'm doing for the Y this week of going in of like, get up early, just freaking go. Otherwise you're going to sit here and you're going to drink coffee and you're just going to dinking around and you're not going to go if I don't have it scheduled.
Yeah.
It's all those little mind tricks, man. That's all it is. It's so much more mind tricks than anything else.
Yeah, dude.
And
it's all in your head.
I know. That's why it's so freaking hard.
I know. If I could just reprogram my brain.
I know. Well, it's
that'd
like, it's
real
better.
Cool.
Well, I think that we reprogram our brains in ways that we don't recognize on a daily basis, though. At least we stop and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where even now I'm like, oh, I wasn't working out. I'm not, because I'm, half broken now, but I'm like, I'm not like working out as hard as I used to. And I'm like, oh my God, chill out.
Yeah, calm down.
I'm just
literally all the time. I'm like, I think that shit. And my therapist is like, you are doing the best you can right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, that whole all or nothing, like go hard or I'm just going to power eat.
Yeah, it's like one thing or the other, like, and it's okay to have a little bit of a middle ground.
Yep. And that's where I'm living now. And this is, it's better for me. And that's where before I started my back hurt and all my knee problems and stuff, where I'm like, it went from, I never went to a gym to, if I miss the gym, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to gain all my weight back. I got to go to the gym. And then going to the gym so much that I'm breaking myself to now know, and especially having the knowledge I have now of being certified and working in a gym, even the small amount of time that I've done that, is, okay, well, if I miss a workout today, it's going to be, it's fine. Like, just the same thing of like, oh, if I ate a cake today, it's the same thing of like, oh, I hate myself. And if I would miss the gym, I would do the same thing of like, oh, I hate myself because I didn't stick to the thing I said I was going to do. And it's like, it's going to be all right. If you eat the cake, it's going to be fine. If you don't work out today, it's going to be fine. And I'm mostly chill in this space now. So it gets better. It only takes a decade.
Breaking less plates and remotes.
I haven't broken a remote in a long time, though. That's been a long time. But I haven't or I would just grab stuff too that I knew wouldn't break. Or just like even when I was a kid, there's anger issues, man. Like playing Sega, like all the time when I was a kid, I would get so mad I would try to snap the controller in half.
Oh my God.
And my controller, like you could hear stuff rattle around in it because I'd get so mad at the game I would try to snap controllers in half.
Oh my God, dude. And I don't let myself feel anger. So my therapist is like, be mad. Like it's okay to be mad. I'm like the opposite of you.
Yeah. But my anger is just like comes in these, again, overwhelmed outbursts, which I've talked to my therapist about because I'm like, I hate this. I don't want this for me. Like, how do I get this out of me? I hate it. And it's just like, the loss of control of feeling like I'm out of control. And that's the overwhelmed feeling. And then I just like, I can't, like my brain just like flips out. And that's the same thing with like a binge. Like I'm out of control. I'm overwhelmed. I can control this. So let's go nuts. But yeah, it's just like, and that's just, some of my issues, and everybody has so many other different issues around food and everything else. It's like, dang, it's so hard, which is why it's so insane to me when like you think of like Instagram influencers and stuff like that there's like this one size fits all way to be healthy or lose weight, even with like exercise or nutrition of like, everybody's dealing with their own sort of thing and their whatever they got to deal with. Not everybody has the same issues as I do. So like you snapping me on this plans doesn't mean it's going to work. Like we're not even addressing why I'm eating the way that I'm eating. It's not that I just think that, cookies are so good I can't like live without them. It's when you go in a binge, they don't even taste them anymore.
No, you don't taste any of it.
Yeah. And I was just having this conversation with somebody last week about how, like, still eating those sorts of things. And like, we were talking about like Girl Scout cookies. And I was like, well, it's good to just like, for me, I'm like, I don't want to deprive myself of them, but I'll portion things out because I'll eat the whole box. But usually after like 5 cookies anyway, like they don't have that same like flavor. Like same thing with ice cream. Like it just doesn't even taste the same as the first few bites.
No.
So why just keep motoring after it when it doesn't even, the flavor is not even doing it for me, instead of like eat those 5 cookies, appreciate those, feel good in that, and then come back to another portion size at another time. But for me, that's why I meal prep too, is I have to like gate those things. Because if it's just in the box, I'll eat the whole box. But if I portion it out, then they're just like little stop signs. I don't know. Do you do that?
There's certain stuff I have to portion out. Like stuff like Skinny Pop, like the popcorn you can buy.
I've eaten whole bags of those too.
I will. I'll eat the whole bag. So I try and portion that kind of stuff. Just because I know myself and I know I'll eat all of it. And then like sweets, like I love freaking Reese cups. So I'll let myself, like when I'm at the grocery store, get one of the like seasonal ones. Oh, so I don't like have them at home because I know that if I want to binge and that's there, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would much rather, if I'm going to binge, have to binge on like grapes and carrots, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just have to be careful about there are definitely certain things I know I have to portion.
Well, and things are dangerous too, like the skinny pop. That's such a good example because it's marketed to be like, well, this is the healthy choice. But you eat a whole bag of that, it's not healthy anymore, especially, you know, the cheese ones. Hell yeah. And I walked past that aisle and I'm like, I saw they had a snickerdoodle flavor in the skinny pop. I'm like, I don't need to know this information. I love snickerdoodles. And I'm like, I know if I bought that thing, there's no portion size. That is, that is gone. And then in your head, you're like, well, it's skinny on the bag. And yeah, it's, or just anything like that where it's, you know, and I feel like it's kind of those buzzwordy things too of like, you know, gluten-free is one, although I think people are kind of getting a little bit more in tune with that of like, oh, well, it's a health food snack. So this means I can eat more of them. Or if it's something like, and I've, you know, found myself in this danger trap before too, of like thinking I'm not eating a lot of carbs. So as long as it doesn't have a lot of carbs, I can eat a bunch of it. And you get those like little cheese crackers, you know what I'm talking about? It's just cheese. And you'll like motor down a ton of those things and be like, well, it's fine because there's no carbs in this. And then you're like, well, then I just also ate 2,000 calories in like 2 seconds. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I'll try, like, since I'm one person, I all the time have leftovers, like, from dinner. So I will go ahead and put whatever I'm not going to eat away. Otherwise, if it's there, I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to go back and get some more. So.
Oh, God, I can't do that. I get something from, like, a restaurant and eat some and then save some for later. I can't do that.
No, it's like food that I've made. Like, food from a restaurant. Forget that.
Yeah. Like I mean, some of them, well, the men in my life, Mike does this all the time and Josh does it too. Like last week, I would watch Josh eat like part of a burrito bowl and then put the rest in the fridge for later. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do that. Like, I'm like, that
really makes me mad.
I'm like no way. Because I'd put it back in the fridge and like 2 seconds later be like, guess I'm hungry again. I'm going to get the rest of it. I'm like, I wish that I could do those things, but that's exactly why I meal prep. Because it's like, put them in separate containers. Like they have to be like in my head. Again, the mind trick of like they're separate meals. Because if I get a bowl at Chipotle, I will breeze right past the point of pain to finish the damn thing. And even now, like I know better. And I'm like, but I will still push myself to past the point of pain when it's a big amount of food like that of like, because it's somehow in my brain, it's like, this is the portion. Clean plate
I'd have
club.
to throw it away. Like if I ate half the bowl instead of putting it in the fridge, I'd have to just throw it away. I'm like, just put it in the trash and maybe put something on it so you don't get it out of the trash.
I get that. But also like, again, I know I told you the story too, where I got like paddled for not cleaning my plate when I was a kid, which is one of the many interesting things of my life. But like that, but also like, because we were so poor, it was like, do not waste food. Like throwing food away to me. And like Mike is so bad at just like leaving food out and having and food waste makes me insane. I hate it. And so that's also another reason for it. I'm like, I can't throw this away. That's so wasteful. Finish it up, girl. And I'm like, even though it would be healthier for me to throw it away for so many reasons, like in my head, it's like food waste is a worse choice than eating point the past, or what, you know what I'm saying? Damn it.
Eating point the past.
Eating past the point of pain. That's what I meant. Damn
Eating
it.
Point the past of pain.
But that,
dude, these bitches I work with, they'll order a whole pizza and eat one slice.
Oh no, how?
And I'm like,
I'm so jealous.
Why did the Lord bless you? What did I do to deserve this? Like, what did I do in a past life to deserve this? Like, I'll eat that whole pizza
for sure.
and then want to die after.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know I've told this story before, but it's worth telling again because it's such a good part of my journey of the point where I was binge eating every night and secret eating. I ordered 2 large pizzas for myself. And that's when the pizza guy came. And I was just like, I acted like I had other people over. Like I literally put on some acting. So like, oh, pizza's here, guys. And like, it's just me. And Mike was at work, which is the reason why I did it. Because no one was around to watch me shame eat 2 large, like everything pizzas. And I got through like 1.5, and that's where I was like, I can't put the leftovers in the fridge because then Mike's going to know that I ordered pizza, and like it would matter. He would never say anything anyway. He's never been that person that's like, what are you doing? Like, he would know better. Like, he'd be like,
right.
Then
I'm going to die tonight.
He'd see that burst of anger then if he starts judging the way I eat. And so, I wouldn't put it in the fridge. So I'm just kind of like, finish it off. And just the amount of pain I put myself through, then I'm like, well, just don't eat the crusts. Just make sure you eat the rest of it. You can throw the crusts away.
Oh my God.
And powered through it. And that was one too. Then I was also mad because I'm like, I can't hide these pizza boxes under the sink. I have to walk my ass down to 3 floors to go to the dumpster. And I was mad about that. And I was so hungry or so full, so much in pain, then wobbling down 3 flights of steps to dump these off in the dumpster and be all done with that by the time he came home from work. And that's where one of those things where I'm like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
This is not how I want to live. Like, oh my God, like this is nuts.
And people like, that's why part of why I love talking to you, because other people think it's freaking nuts. They just don't get it. And I'm like, no, that's the shit that we do.
Yeah.
Or did.
Yeah.
Past tense.
I'm very glad that I haven't done anything like that in a very long time. Like even, I mean, it's been going on almost a year since I've had a binge, but even like the binge that I've had now is nothing like that.
Right.
That's been nothing. And I mean, that was just one night. I mean, the next night was spending $20 at Taco Bell. I've gone to Wendy's and McDonald's in the same night and power ate both and then slammed both sodas because I can't have any evidence. And so, and it's cheaper to get a value meal, and like just doing that stuff where I was just like, oh my God. And then when I do hear other people talk about that too, where I was just like, cause I felt like I was the only one doing stuff like that. You're so full of shame. I mean, I never talked about any of this until I started this podcast because it's like, no one will understand me. I'm this piece of shit, like that, what's wrong with me? And then talking about it and having the feedback from so many other women that are like, oh my God, that's me, or that's been me. And, then getting, I never viewed that as any sort of disordered eating. I just thought like, hey, fat ass, you can't stop eating. Like that's literally how I spoke to myself. Like I didn't see this as any sort of problem. And that's where the switch flipped of like, this is not how I want to live my life. And this goes beyond, I think French fries are delicious.
Right.
Where is this coming from? And that's where, back to the beginning of this conversation, it was like, I need to really have a hard sit down with myself and where the hell is this coming from? Right. Because this isn't just, I love food, and I do love food, but doing that is not loving food or loving yourself in any way possible.
No, it's neither of those.
And so even through the discussions I've had, it's like, oh my God, you got through this, or, it's still like going to be an issue forever to some degree without a therapist, which I don't know how that worked, but I would 1000% recommend somebody, if somebody's listening to this right now and nodding your head along me, like, yo, that's me, talk to someone about it. And, I feel like that would have been so beneficial to me at the time to, if I would have heard a podcast like this and heard people talking about it and I'm like, oh my God, it's not me. And maybe I should talk to somebody about this. Like, I think that would have been just like move things along so much faster for me and would have been a game changer.
Well, and when you talk about that stuff, the shame like kind of disappears.
Yeah. You like take the power away from it.
Right. Yeah. So most of the time, something that I'm feeling like super shameful about, I tell my therapist, and then it's like not a big deal anymore.
Yeah. And it just makes me feel like just my interactions. And I know we've talked about this before because we tend to talk about binging a lot. If you just like the feeling of like going to somebody's house or being a party or something where it was like a buffet or something, and just constantly think of like, get them out of here so I can just shovel in as much as possible when they get up away from the table. You know what I mean? So they aren't seeing like, and then all I'm thinking about is like this dip or whatever it is. Like that's where my mind's at instead of being in the moment. And yeah, getting like, I'm so glad that that's the shame of that too, of just like, I can't eat in front of other people, or just even where, you know, not only to the binge in front of people, but I wouldn't eat in front of other people before because in my mind, they were thinking like, oh, of course, the fat chick's eating this. You know what I mean? And then you're shaming yourself. And then I would go out on dates when I was dating and order salads because I would be like, I can't order what I really want because they would be like, oh, fatty. And not that they ever said anything like that, although I did say some douchebags that probably totally did. But yeah, of just like how much that's just this shame tornado in your own head of like, oh my God, you don't have to live like that forever.
No, dude. And half the stuff that we think that people are thinking about us, it's the stuff we're thinking about ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's where it's like, my God, this is mean. How do I
Yeah,
talk to
dude.
myself
Like,
better?
no wonder you're unhappy. Like, you're being so damn mean to yourself. It's awful.
But that's hard work. I mean, it's gotten a lot better. Man, It's so hard to not be mean to yourself.
It is hard, especially when you've been doing that for a lifetime. Then you got to try and shut that down.
Yeah. Well, that's also too, you know, the people you surround yourself with.
Oh, yeah.
If you're surrounding yourself with the wrong kind of people or negative people that are feeding into that voice, then that's also another such a huge part about weight loss too, is you're going to lose some people. And that sucks. I mean, but it's healthier if you're around people that are making you worse. Then I've gone through that too. It's brutal, especially losing friends. Like losing friends I think is harder than losing like a boyfriend.
Yeah. Losing those boyfriends, it's like, meh.
At least the boyfriends
I had. Replaced.
Yeah. I'm super glad I replaced all these people that I dated before I got married. Like, ugh, God. Man, imagine like, I was like, man, if I dated now with having self-esteem, that'd be a whole different game.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, like, oh man, my standards are too high now.
Yeah, you don't put up with anything.
Yeah, right?
You're like, oh, I don't like this. Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, and just seeing like TikToks of people talking about dating, I'm like, ugh.
It's awful.
Have fun out there, Shannon.
I'm going to be single forever.
Oh, maybe it's not so bad.
Well, you know, most of the time, my mom tells me all the time, she's like, Shannon, it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Like having a relationship. I'm like, I know.
It's not
I'll
a
just
movie.
end up unhappy in a different way. So
that's the attitude.
Yeah. Woo! I am so happy by myself though, for real. 95% of the time, I don't even think about men.
There you go.
Yes. I'm here killing it alone with my cat. Don't need anybody's help unless, you know, something goes wrong with my car or a light bulb. So.
Damn straight queen.
That's right. Strong, independent woman.
Well, I know that you being a strong, independent woman have to go to the gym now and deal with a man.
Lift shit without a dude.
Well, I mean, Josh is a dude though. He's going to supervise. You're like,
I never wanted a male personal trainer, and here I am.
Yeah, what'd you do that for?
Dealing with Josh. He picked me. Okay. He could have given me to someone else. Instead, he was like, I'm going to train you. And now I give him so much shit. I know he wants to give me to someone else. All the time. I'm like, I know you want to get rid of me, Josh. I know it.
Well, go give him hell.
I will.
All right. I'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
AmandaValentineBites.com